One thing that I love about the communities that gathered around here in this beautiful little merry channel filled with amazing, beautiful people, intelligent people, and very bright minds is that there's always people willing to help other people. There's always people willing to learn from the advice of these other people. And this is basically what we do in this channel. We help people. And something else that I always love as well is the fact that people is usually curious. People asks away and gives me ideas for new videos for me to be able to explain you this little mechanic, that big mechanic, this one little huge mechanic. So there's always something to discuss, and thanks to these beautiful people, I was thinking to myself, you know what? Yes, we do have some little things that just doing by one specific action, you are able to not only break the game, but take advantage of the mechanics that not many people uses, and they are just simple spells that you might have never thought of using before. And today I have the answer specifically to this one. I think that we are going to have a little bit more later on with future videos, but for now, I have an answer for this. How to take advantage of this little small mechanic for a cleric, and also for fighters, for warriors, and this is something that you're always going to have access to, and this is something that you're always going to be able to abuse in this game. So at the start of the game, you always have Shadow Heart, and it's difficult to use, I'm not gonna lie. The buffs, debuffs, the stuff that she does, it's somewhat difficult to learn how to use, especially for a new player that doesn't know the mechanics of this game that much. To have in mind that about this game, something very important about combat exploration and socials as well is how you manage to actually tackle into any encounter. There's cunning, there's actions that you can do to make things easier, not just brute force everything. It's not that brute forcing it's a bad idea, it's just that it's something that you're able to do, but you do not have to do. You have different options. And this little option that I have for you is something very simple, which is a very low level spell that we're going to have right here, which is command. And we are going to command people to drop their weapons. And when they drop their weapons, they're basically are not going to pose any kind of harm or threat to us, especially against this big bad guy that we have right here. Also, that is something that we have access to if you chose the skill as well with the fighter at level 3 to be able to disarm people as well with your superiority dice. That is something that you can do as well, but also enemies have to do a saving throw to be able to bypass that, so there are ways that we can actually lower that up. We're going to stage this fight right here. As you can see, I'm fairly low level. I am level 3, my party is just level 3, as you can see right here, my entire group is just level 3, whereas this guy has lots and lots of health because he's level 4. And if you know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, any kind of edition, a difference in level in this kind of games, it's huge. It's just huge, so it's never a good idea to be fighting against high level characters. Now, what we have right here is that this guy, as you can see, he has a magic weapon. So a big bad boy like this one right here with a magic weapon, it's very dangerous to us, especially if we are lower level than him. One thing that you have in mind is that, for example, this is my main character. I already know the outcome of this fight. I already know that in my playthrough I am going to be fighting these guys, at least for my personal playthrough. You do not have to if you do not want to. There are multiple choices, but I am going to be using these guys as means of an example. Since I already know how that works, I am going to stage my party right here. I am going to divide everyone into the different positions that I am going to have. I'm going to have my main character up there because I am going to be entering into stealth, and I am going to be using him for stealth. And as a matter of fact, if I wanted to, I can already enter into stealth and then get the next party member, get him up here as well, and enter into stealth as well. And then the characters that we are going to be using as our main thing, it's just going to be Lae'zel, and it's also going to be Shadow Heart. I am going to try to do a dice roll with Lae'zel to immediately just disarm this guy. So let's see if we're actually able to do so. Right, now that everyone is in the place, I'm going to try to use my superiority dice to disarm this guy immediately, and let's see if I am lucky enough. I am. I was able to disarm him, and basically he now opposes no threat to me. one thing that you need to have in mind is that sometimes they will pick up the weapon. So with the next character that you have right here, I'm going to make sure that he's not able to pick up his weapon because I have it right here with me. Now what I want to do is that I want to disarm that gal as well. Ideally, what I would like to use is use Bane, because Bane, what it's going to do is that it's going to make penalties, do penalties on saving throws for enemies. But usually I like to use Bane when I have several enemies on me right now, so we're not going to be doing that just yet, because I'm going to try to disarm this gal without that one, and she did a save right there, so that is a bummer. Also, now that I have this stage, let's enter into combat. That guy is basically, he doesn't pose any kind of threat against me, so let's try to play smart right here. And then against that gal, we're going to be using our Witch Bolt right here with Gal. Let's see if we can succeed. Yes, we did. And then let's move on to see what else do we have. So we have a Lae'zel right here. She's going to suffer a opportunity attack right here. But as you can see, he's disarmed. So even if he manages to hit me, he's going to receive a penalty because of that. So now I can decide whether I should like to repost or not. Just have in mind that I can, but more often than not, I am going to be using my superiority dice to disarm people. And remember, this guy doesn't pose a threat anymore because he's disarmed right now. So let's just not react against that. And let's try to disarm this gal as well. And she received a saved. So that is a bummer. Let's actually just head over and use our action search right here to be able to see if we're able to finish her off. So yeah, we're able to finish her up. And then let's see if we can actually finish up this guy as well. He's very weak, so yeah, there we go. So we just have two more characters that we need to take care of. One is the guy that is just right outside here. I do not know why he hasn't come here yet to fight against me. I think that's because my turn hasn't ended yet. So that's interesting. And he's also a very powerful character. He's going to dash, but he's making a mistake right here because he's alone. And other than being alone, I am able to... Let's see if I can... yeah, we can probably move Gale right here to use a Witch Bolt against him. And our turn right here. And let's see if we can actually disarm this Gale right here, because I do not want for her to be bothering me while I molest this other guy. We're not going to be using Bane. Remember that I would like to be using Bane if I have several enemies that I can affect with Bane. I can also use Bless before I start the fight. That is something that I didn't do, but it's something that you can most definitely do. It's not possible to use Bane before the fight, because if you use Bane before you actually start the fight, you're not going to have a success, because you need to use this thing against a target that is hostile against you. But since these guys, they weren't, then that is something that I wasn't able to do. So let's try to disarm this gal right here. And she didn't pass the saving throw. I can't remember whether if she was using a dagger or where is the weapon that she was using. I could most definitely go ahead and try to pick up that dagger, but I am not going to do so because I do not have any movement left. And we can also use Lae'zel right here to try to disarm this guy right here. So let's try that. And we received a critical miss. Well, you know, that's a bummer. Do have in mind that this is very powerful, especially because if you're using disarm against any kind of enemy, it doesn't necessarily need to be humanoid. They just need to be holding a weapon. And if they are holding a weapon, they are going to oppose less of a threat against you. This works even with the Minotaurs that you can find in the Underdark. So yeah, that is just something, a quick little tip that is going to help you throughout the entirety of the game, not just in this first act of the game. This first act of the game, it's amazing because you're just building your party, you're just building your characters. You don't have that many assets at hand right now, so being able to render the enemy harmless against you, it's amazing. Granted, this is not going to work against like creatures or beasts and whatnot, but against very specific difficult fights like we have right here, like the one that we have right here with Anders. Anders is a very scary fight if you're a low level. This is something that you can do against the Githyanki patrol. If you play your cards properly, you can basically disarm everyone and render them useless. Anyways, if you like the content, so liking the video is super appreciated. Not only that you're a gorgeous and beautiful person, you're indeed a gorgeous and beautiful person. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you like the content. I'll be seeing you goddamn gorgeous and beautiful people in the next one. Have a beautiful day, and goodbye.